Welcome to the garden in May. I believe it's May 24th. Things are looking pretty. In this bed I have some cabbage growing, yellow squash, zucchini, and jing okra. That cabbage got to form and it's growing. In bed 2 I have some spinach, lettuce, and then the same, this is going to be yellow zucchini, and then yellow squash, and then okra down the middle. Thinking this bed is Clemson spineless. And in this long bed, I'm growing cucumbers along the back. Some cucumbers. Okra down the middle, and then zucchini all along the front. There's some pretty Thai basil. Some okra coming up. Hopefully lots of okra. These are brand new. And there's a Chinese red noodle bean. Cucumbers. And in the back I have crookneck squash growing. And this orange tree started flowering or blossoming. And here's some tomatoes. More tomatoes, Dr. Witchy. Brandywine. And a beef steak and aroma. And then back here I have spaghetti squash. It grew so amazing last year and it's already huge. And in this bed here's some Swiss chard, green beans, and beets. In this bed, carrots. I harvested a bunch of those last week. And in this one, here's some green beans, some lettuce, some scarlet kale. The lettuce is going to seed. This bed still pretty much needs to be planted, but I'm growing some dragon tongue bush beans and some spaghetti squash to go up the trellis. Over here I'm growing kale and spaghetti squash and Chinese red noodle beans. On this side, my lovely chickens scratched up whatever was planted. So I'll have to replant that. And here's my onion bed. Look at that big onion. That's a good one. And red onions. And in this bed, garlic and some volunteer potatoes. I think these might be Kajari melons. I'm hoping. The goats ate my first batch of Kajari melons. Cucumbers. Grow up the pallet trellis. Oh look, this orange tree has a real bloom. Cute. In this bed I have butter crunch lettuce. I think dragon tongue bush beans and Chinese red noodle beans. Hopefully another Kajari melon. And in this bed, the lemon tree is blooming. My first African daisy. And this bed has beets, I think Detroit red and golden beets. Some lettuce. This is my favorite lettuce. It's so pretty. And I had radishes, but I just harvested them last week. So I'm putting some peppers in, but my peppers are still really small. And there's some dill. I have to have netting on all the beds because the chickens will not stay put. My herb bed. There's chives, thyme, green onions, oregano. My rosemary was huge, but it died in the freeze. Well, kind of died. It's growing back. There's some Thai basil. That looks like parsley. My pond that's drying up because we had snakes in there and we killed them and made a hole. So I have to redo the pond. I have cucumbers growing in here. They just haven't popped up. Oh, our first pea. I waited so long for these peas. Last year I had a huge pea harvest. This year, that's our first one. Then back here next to the compost, I have a couple volunteer plants. I'm assuming they're squash. And then our pumpkin patch. We have Big Max pumpkins and Connecticut field pumpkins growing in here. Hopefully we get a good pumpkin harvest. There's a pretty garden gem. And my roses that the goats got. 2 of them are coming back. 1 of them needs to be replaced. We just finished morning playtime. So everybody's napping. Hi, Ducky. That's not where you live, miss. Not where you live. They think I have treats. There's a chicken and the goats. Look at all those eggs in there. Hi, Shorty. And Mr. Turkey. He's about to go bye-bye. Because he has not been being nice to the chickens. Last night he pecked Iris and she was bloody. So he's going bye-bye. And this is the in-ground bed. This is where the pigs used to be. And I have lots of squash in here. I think there's some crookneck, butternut. Should be some spaghetti squash. And some acorn. There might be some watermelons coming up. I'm not sure if the chickens got the watermelon. Potatoes. Chicken. She's taking a dust bath. I can't wait to see what this is going to look like when everything is growing. When it's full grown, it's going to be filled out. And here's inside the high tunnel. It's kind of in between stages right now. I have some tomatoes planted. And then some dill. And then I still have our cool season crops growing, like Brussels sprouts. Tomatoes. A little cabbage. Those will be coming out so I can plant more tomatoes and peppers. Cilantro. The chickens got the Swiss chard. And we had contained the cabbage. We had contained the chickens, but the goats broke in here, and on their way out they messed up the chicken run. So now we have loose chickens everywhere. Celery. Look at how big that tomato is already. It's huge. That's a Jet Star. It's a hybrid. I think I have beefsteak, Romas, Brandywines, Jet Stars. Hopefully lots of tomatoes. They look really good. Some kale, blue curled Scotch kale. That's my favorite. That's a Brandywine. That's big. Some peppers. I bought those peppers. Most of this is from seed, from Baker Creek. But I did buy a couple of peppers since mine are so small. But yeah, this will be changing over. It was all cabbage, cool weather crops. Now it's turning into tomatoes and peppers.